We'll move down to we'll have the clerk take the roll.
Commissioner Heinrich.
Here.
Commissioner Brastad.
Here.
Commissioner Reinert.
Here.
Commissioner Gamache.
Here.
Commissioner Schulte.
Here.
Commissioner Jepson.
Here.
Commissioner Meisner.
Here.
And we're all present this morning. Item number 4 is to consider accepting the regular claims paid over $500 and purchase card claims paid for the period ending January 24th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner Brasted, seconded by Commissioner Schulte. Any questions? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Brastad.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Jepson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Heinrich.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Item number 5 is the approval of minutes from the January 28th, 2025 County Board meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner Schulte. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Meisner. Any changes or questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. Item 6 is Chair's remarks today, and the first item on our agenda is to consider for informational purposes the recognition of Danielle Sanborn as the Coon Creek Watershed District 2025 Partner of the Year. And I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Reinert, who serves as our lead commissioner on parks, to lead our conversation this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It is my honor to recognize Danielle Sanborn today as the Coon Creek Watershed District 2024 Partner of the Year. She has been selected for this award because of her above and beyond efforts and projects, maintenance, permit compliance, and years of continued collaboration and cooperation with the district and district staff. Danielle's ability to think beyond the immediate scope of the project and leverage opportunities for a broader community benefit sets her apart. A prime example of her dedication is her work with the Coon Creek's Dam Regional Park. The Coon Creek Watershed District's Partner of the Year Partner of the Year recognition program was initiated in 2021 to highlight the value and importance of partnerships, particularly as they relate to improving our community's water resources. The Partner of the Year award recognizes the exemplary work of individuals who have gone above and beyond in their service to the district's local communities. By shining a spotlight on these dedicated individuals and partners, the district hopes to inspire others and encourage continued collaboration. We have Coon Creek Water District Board Chair Jim Hafner here to present the award to Danielle on behalf of the district, and also Jeff Perry, Director of Anoka County Parks Department, will also say a few words. Thank you all for being here.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, it's a pleasure to be here this morning. Thank you for giving us the time to present this award to Danielle. Commissioner, I think you took a lot of my thunder. Same remarks that I have. We are very pleased to work with Danielle in her capacity with at the Park Board. She's always very willing to work with us. She can see through a project and see what needs to be done. And your comments about the Coon Rapids, the Regional Dam Project, there were a number of different facets there. And rather than try to approach each one individually, she saw a way to work with us, came to us about working on all of these together and saving time and resources and so on. And as you mentioned, she's always very diligent, very she's excited about her work. She's a joy to work with, and we're very excited to present this award to her. It's an example also, as we do this each year, for we don't diminish the work that other partners have done, but some just kind of stand out above others in a particular year, and this past year has been Danielle. So we're very pleased to present this award to her today.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Jeff Perry, Park Director for Anoka County. I'd like to thank Chair Hafner, the Coon Creek Watershed District staff for nominating Danielle, very deserving recipient of this award. I would also like to recognize Coon Creek Watershed District and the value of their partnership as we work together through these projects to conserve and restore and preserve the water resources across Anoka County. Very valuable partnership to Anoka County with Coon Creek Watershed District. And then last but not least, congratulations to my colleague, Danielle Sanborn. She, again, is a very deserving recipient, a true professional, and we're very lucky to have her on our team. So with that, Mr. Chair, that concludes my remarks.
Thanks. And we have Danielle here. Would you like to come up, Danielle?
Bring her up.
I didn't prepare anything, but I just want to say thank you to Coon Creek Watershed District. They have been a very valuable partner with us, very easy to work with. And again, you know, their core focus is to reduce erosion and reduce pollution in our waterways. So it's very important to us to partner with them, and hopefully we can continue lots of projects in the future.
Why don't we
A round of applause.
That's a good one, yeah. We have the plaque there. Do you want to do another picture with the three of you? And grab that plaque as well. Oh, that's the fair one. Never mind.
No, the fair one is.
I got it, yeah. Oh, they got that one. That's what I was talking about. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here, and congratulations to Danielle on her well-deserved award. We're thankful for her commitment to not only the Coon Creek Watershed District, but to Anoka County as a whole, and appreciate the comments that were made. Item number 2 is to consider for informational purpose. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Miser, go ahead.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I just wanted to offer just a little bit of commentary. So I just said hello to Danielle, not realizing or recognizing who she was, but I just offer this as part of the scope of her work. So she's also designing the Cordiac Pavilion and part of that project. So I just, again, wanted to publicly express my gratitude for that, because it's a smaller park, obviously much smaller than the Coon Rapids Dam, but the folks who live there, it is extremely beloved and important. They are excited and can't wait for that pavilion to be built back up again. So thank you very much. And again, just offering that in terms of your scope of your work, big or small, you are very appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else? Okay. The next item, the second item on our list today, is to recognize Anoka County 4-H for its first place award at the 2024 International Association of Fairs and Expo for the Fair Buddies, Anoka County 4-H, an adaptive animal science experience. I'm going to ask Commissioner Jepson to lead our conversation today. Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my honor to recognize the Anoka County Fair and its Fair Buddies, 4-H Fair Buddies program for the work and new amenities and new adaptive programs and new inclusivity for all abilities at last year's Anoka County Fair. So last July, 4-H staff in partnership with Anoka County's Adaptive Programs Group created a new program called 4-H Fair Buddies, so that the children with disabilities could experience firsthand what 4-H does in our community. 8 children with disabilities were each partnered with one of 15 volunteers, 4-H mentors, and their animals. The 4-H mentors shared their animals with the children and taught them about the animals' care, including grooming, feeding, and safety. Fair Buddies were able to get up close and personal with a dairy calf, goats, poultry, rabbits, and horses during this innovative experience. The event also included mock shows where Fair Buddies were taught how to handle an animal in a show arena and earned ribbons for their efforts. They are also able to groom and apply finger paint to horses for a sensory experience. That sounded, I thought that was a typo when I first read it, but they were finger painting horses. I need to learn more about that. After its success, there is every intention by all those involved to continue and expand the program in the coming years. This is a perfect example of what inclusivity looks like, and this group is so well deserving of its first place award and recognition. So I'd like to come up I'd like to call up a few individuals right now, Michaela Leibel and Mike Allers with the Anoka County Fair, as well as the 4-H family, the Brady family, mom Hannah, and son Howard, and daughter Ivy.
We're honored to be able to partner with the 4-H in all kinds of different aspects, but this was a totally different program that we had never done before. And so I'm actually going to turn this over to Hannah, who was one of the volunteers, and it was her children also who were the mentors of this program. Hannah?
So this was a new program that as soon as the kids heard at the livestock meeting, they both shot their hands up and said, I want to help. So it was so fun to see as a mom that they wanted to help all the other kids. So showing right now is some pictures of them doing it. Howard, you can explain this one.
So the one with the cow, that's my cow that I showed at the county fair.
What's the cow's name?
And the cow's name was Honey.
Honey.
My favorite buddy, you gotta show him all the animals. Her favorite one to show was the goat.
What was your goat's name?
The goat's name was Pie.
And tell us about the finger painting of the horse.
And my buddy liked to do the finger painting of the horses.
What was their favorite color?
The favorite color was the sparkly silver. And I can't wait to do it this summer.
Thank you.
We plan to do this program again at the 2025 Anoka County Fair. It went over really well. All in all, the Anoka County Fairgrounds got 15 awards, international awards, honoring all of our different types of new and innovative projects, including Compass Childcare, the Bike to the Fair program, Fair Buddies, our partnership with Rum River Art Center, and more that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. 15 is the best we've ever done internationally. I look forward to getting at least 16 next year. So we'll see you guys at the fair. Thank you guys for having us.
Great, thanks for coming.
Again, thank you for being here today, Michaela, and congratulations to the Anoka County 4-H for winning this award for their innovative program, obviously more than just one award. It's great to see young people in our community being recognized for contributions that make a real lasting impact. And thanks for bringing the kids with. And like I told you earlier, that's a great hat. I'll figure out how to get one. Commissioner Schulte.
I was just mentioning their plaque. They should grab their plaque.
Oh, yes, make sure you take your plaque with you, and we appreciate you guys coming. Any other comments? Commissioner Meisner?
Well, no, I mean, and I'm sorry, if you already had your own picture with the plaque, great. I just wanted to offer that since you did with that last group, if they wanted their own, smaller picture with the plaque.
Oh, yeah, we should do
good idea.
that. We just lost our photographer, though.
Teresa's getting them.
Okay, Tracy's gonna get. Well, we'll see. All right, here we go.
To the rescue.
Well, you should be in it, and someone can take the picture with their phone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It's always fun to have young people coming into the boardroom. All right, so now we'll move down to our committee of the whole, and we move on to first the management committee. Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Management Committee, we met on February 11th, and thank you to the City of Coon Rapids. We were meeting there because we've we're having the new lights installed. Everyone was there. So again, we are doing this slightly different now. There is a consent agenda. I will go through each one and see if anyone has any comments, but then we will ratify and vote it as a slate together today. But there are 3 travel requests. A is for John Murphy, the Law Library Director, and he is going to be attending Portland for 5 days. You can see the details there. Does anyone have any questions or comments about that? I will move on to B, which is Jeff Perry, the Director and Administrator of Parks. He will also be traveling to the annual conference, and this is out in Detroit, Michigan for 5 days. Details are also there. Any questions or comments about that one? The last one to approve is item C, which is Lori Eggers. This is a transit program specialist. She will be going out to a conference in New Orleans for 4 days in August, and there are details there. Any questions about that? I will make note again, for all of these travel requests for training and conferences, these go through a variety of approvals through their own departments and management. So by the time it gets here, it has been fully vetted, actually several times. So with that, I will offer the 3 consent items to be approved, A through C.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Meiser, second by Commissioner Schulte. This is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Jepson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Heinrich.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Any informational items, Commissioner?
Yes, and then for the informational items, there were a few, but I always like to share with the public. One was to approve the resolution. This is for a tentative agreement between the Anoka County Law Enforcement Labor Services. This was for a 3-year union contract. This actually did go directly to board, which was approved at the time. So I'm just reporting on that. The next one, again, was a resolution also to approve a different set of contracts with the Law Enforcement Labor Services. This was also for a 3-year contract that again went to the board directly at our last board meeting. It was approved at that time. The last informational item was an updated for non-union salary schedule that went to the board. It was approved in a 6-to-1 with Commissioner Reinert not in support of that. And with that, that includes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move down to the Transportation and Parks, and we'll start out with Parks with Commissioner Reiner.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Our Transportation Parks Committee met on February 4th. All were present. I've got a couple items for you on parks today. Both of them are donations, so they're pretty easy. First item is to consider recommending approval of resolution number 2025 TR04, a resolution accepting a donation in amount of $25,000 received from Connexus Energy to be used to fund natural and cultural history programming for youth in the Anoka County Park System. I should also mention that they donate something for the same purpose every year. And I'll move that item.
We have the resolution before us. Any questions, comments? I want to thank Connexus Energy again for doing this for a number of years now. It's been very helpful, and as you can see on your screen, I think we had some information, some of the classes that were conducted with some of the dollars that they donate. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It doesn't say resolution.
Well, because they're consent agenda items, should we take them as a group?
Okay.
Or-
Without roll call then either?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. We'll then go to item number 2, or the resolution number 2.
Alrighty. Next item is to consider recommending approval of resolution number 2025 TR05. And this is a resolution accepting miscellaneous donations in the amount of $467.89 to be used as dedicated to Parks Administration, Warrego Nature Center in my district, and Natural Resource Management and Park Services. I should probably go down here and mention those generous donations as well. We've got $10 coming, and this is going to be dedicated to Park Administration from Peggy Zambori. $10 dedicated to Warrego Nature Center from Theodora Hussery, I think, Andover, Minnesota, Nabi Nasser, Columbia Heights, David Reed, Coon Rapids, Amy Reams, Arden Hills, and Equipment Homeschool Co-op, Oak Grove. Next was dedicated to natural resource management in the amount of $60 from Robert Schmelzer from Maple Grove, and Mary Lemires from Coon Rapids, and then an anonymous donation dedicated to Park Services of $205.41. And Mr. Chair, I'll move to adopt that resolution of 2025 TR05.
Thank you. So just to make sure that we're doing this the way we should we get an offer and then a second because they're together?
As a consent, we should second it, yes.
Okay, so I have a motion by Commissioner Reinert for items TR04 and TR05. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Schulte. Any comments? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it's approved. Informational items, we had a couple things we discussed. I don't know if you want to touch base on any of them.
Yeah, actually, I would call on our Parks Director, Jeff Perry, if you want to go through a couple of the informational items. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Jeff Perry, Park Director for Anoka County. One of the information items touched on our disc golf course down at Riverfront Regional Park in Fridley. It's called Riverfront 13, and we were recognized by an organization called UDisc for being the most popular disc golf course in Minnesota. And that was based on the number of rounds played last year in 2024. And there were 18,654 rounds played. And how this works is this organization called UDisc. It's a worldwide app, and it records the number of rounds played at disc golf courses all over the United States and actually all over the world. So we were recognized here in Anoka County at Riverfront 13 at that particular disc golf course for the most popular disc golf course in Minnesota. So we are officially on the roadmap, and I can attest, I drove by it Sunday, and it was rather cold and snowy, and there were at least 50 people out playing disc golf in the snow. So very proud of that, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, and yeah, I think that was probably top of the list of the informational items.
And also, what surprised me when we look at some of the data, there's like 40 different countries participate. I mean, people coming, then maybe they just happen to be here, bring their discs, and come to our course. But there was like 40 different countries identified, right?
Yeah, that is correct, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Reinert. Between Bunker Hills Disc Golf and Riverfront Disc Golf, it's our customer base has been represented in 2024 by 40 different countries around the world. So something we're also very proud to be a part of.
We're on the map. All right. Thank you, Director Perry. And, oh, sure.
Kind of one quick question for Jeff. Because of the snow that we had, we talked a little bit about trails for skiing and everything, and I wasn't sure, but at the end of the meeting, I asked you how much snow we needed, and you said about 8 inches. Did we get 8 inches? Are we out grooming trails?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Yes, I'm very pleased to report that we have been out starting Sunday morning to groom our cross-country ski trails at Bunker Hills, Coon Rapids Dam, and Chamonix Golf Course. So we were able to get out and comb the surface. We weren't able to set track for members of the public, but we certainly have a good skate base right now, and with the cold weather, the skate conditions are fair to good condition as we speak, and a couple more inches of snow we'll be able to set track for the traditional skiers.
Thank you.
Fantastic. As a cross-country skier and living by Chamonix, I'll get out and check it out and let you know how it is. That completes my report, Mr. Chair. Back to you. Oh, actually, this is Transportation and Parks, so I'll hand it over to Julie Jepson for her items.
Thank you, Commissioner Reinert. I just have a clarifying question. So Commissioner Meisner handled her management items all together. Commissioner Reinert handled his resolution items separately. I just want to make sure we're doing it consistently and how it should go in consent agenda.
We'll get that. We'll get it all right, but we voted on them together. So
for folks at home, we've got a new committee system, I guess you want to put it. And so we're still working out the bugs, I guess.
So if you want to do it as,
I'll follow Commissioner Meisner's way of doing things, because that's what I have my experience in, so if that works. Okay, wonderful. All right, on to transportation. We have a number of resolutions as well as a number of contracts. So the first resolution is 2025 TR06, a resolution requesting speed zone study on 85th Avenue Northwest from East River Road to Springbrook Drive Northwest in the cities of Coon Rapids and Fridley. Does anybody have any questions regarding those? Resolution number 2 is 2025 TR07, a resolution requesting a speed zone study on Armstrong Boulevard Northwest from Trunk Highway 10 to CASA 116, which is Bunker Lake Boulevard in the city of Ramsey. Yes, Commissioner.
Chair, I'd just like a quick comment for the public watching that we don't do these speed zone studies or request these speed zone studies until the city has asked for them and actually developed a resolution from their city councils. Because these speed zone studies are done by MnDOT and we're bound by what MnDOT decides these speed zone studies come out as. So we don't specifically ask for them until the cities have asked for them. Just a clarifying point.
Yes, very important clarifying point. Thank you. The next resolution is 2025 TR08, a resolution setting the 2025 spring road restrictions. Any questions on that? Okay, and now moving on to a number of contracts. First contract is C0010941, a joint powers agreement with the city of Andover for traffic signal reconstruction, rehabilitation, and ADA improvements at multiple signal locations along Bunker Lake Boulevard between Rose Street Northwest and Hanson Boulevard Northwest in the city of Andover. Questions, comments? Next is contract C0011341, a joint powers agreement, again with the city of Coon Rapids for signal reconstruction and pedestrian ramp ADA improvements at the intersection of Northdale Boulevard and 111th Lane Northwest in the city of Coon Rapids. Next is a contract C0011342, a joint powers agreement with the cities of Blaine and Coon Rapids for signal reconstruction and pedestrian ramp ADA improvements at the intersection of Northdale Boulevard, also 109th Avenue and University Avenue in the cities of Blaine and Coon Rapids. Contract C0011382 in the amount of $2,845,539.67 to Ty Zach Concrete LLC for signal reconstruction, rehabilitation, and ADA improvements at multiple signal locations on Bunker Lake Boulevard between Rose Street Northwest and Hanson Boulevard in the city of Andover.
just for clarification again, because we're going through this and people might be seeing the screen up showing the same spot we talked about. The first one was a resolution on the work being done, and the second one is a contract that's actually being approved of doing that work. The first one was on what, item number 5 or no 6? That was the Speedstone study. It was item number 9. Yep. And then this is related to that. So just in case anybody's seen both things, just some point of clarification.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And the final contract included in the consent agenda is contract C0010751A, a professional services contract amendment number 1 with SRF Consulting for the design and environmental documentation services associated with the replacement bridge number 02535 on Rum River Boulevard over Sealy Brook in the city of Oak Grove. And with that, those are all the items that I have for consent agenda approval.
And then just as everybody would know, we were asking if there's anybody that wants to remove them or anybody has any comments about them. If there's a board member that wishes to vote, maybe individually have a vote on an item where they may not want to vote for it, that's the opportunity that they have at that point in time. Otherwise, on a consent, everybody can vote on all of them, and that's the way we're doing it. So,
Move approval of the consent agenda.
thank you, Commissioner Schulte. We have a vote, motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Jepson. And this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Gamache?
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte?
Aye.
Commissioner Jepson?
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Heinrich.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Then we go to informational items. Commissioner Jepson?
Yeah, we had a few informational items. The first one being authorizing County Engineer Joe McPherson to advertise for bids for those traffic control signals that we just moved forward with resolutions on along Northdale Boulevard, 109th, and University in the cities of Blaine and Coon Rapids. We also discussed authorizing staff to advertise and set a public hearing for February 25th at our regular county board meeting for the purpose of receiving public comments regarding adoption of our updated Anoka County right-of-way ordinance. It's an ordinance that has not been updated in quite some time, and it was needing a refresh. And finally, with transit, we heard from Amy Horner an update regarding our transportation management organization Q4 of 2024 commute solutions activities and finance report. So with that, Mr. Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Mize, you have a question?
Oh, yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just before we move on from our committee meeting reports, so I apologize, and we are getting used to this new format for public comment. I just wanted to also make that clear as well. Public comments are still welcome in person. Now that we're doing committees of the whole, and there's a large list and all 7 of us there, I believe at the top of each of the meeting on the schedule, that is when in person anyone can come in and make a comment about anything that is on that agenda for the operations. And then I apologize. I also still accept comments via email. So I did not say that. But it's mandy.meisner@anoka County.mn.gov. And so that will continue to be a practice that I do as well. So I just wanted to articulate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move down to item number 8, and that is a public hearing to obtain comments on a proposed Anoka County Cannabis Businesses Ordinance. And I'll turn it over to the County Attorney Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the County Board. I'll now open the public hearing portion of the meeting. The time is now 10:02, and I'd ask that the minutes reflect that the notice of this public hearing was published on January 24, 2025 in the Anoka County Union to inform the public that a hearing would occur during the regular meeting of the Anoka County Board of Commissioners on today's date, February 11th, 2025, to allow the public to comment on the proposed Anoka County Cannabis Business Ordinance as set forth in the published notice of public hearing, and the proposed ordinance is also attached to today's agenda. Before we receive any public comments, I believe Janelle Hubbard is here from Anoka County Public Health to give the board an overview of the proposed ordinance.
Hi, yes, good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Just here, Janelle Hubbard, Public Health and Environmental Service Director. Just here, doing this public hearing, the oversight of the cannabis. Public Health is playing a role in developing this ordinance and ensuring that we are working with our townships and our cities here in Anoka County to make sure that we are adequately having law, regulation, oversight in place in order to make sure that we are ensuring the health and safety of our community. So I really don't have anything further than that this morning, other than making sure that we have a strong ordinance to make sure that it is clear what the roles and responsibilities are of the Office of Cannabis Management, the cities within Anoka County, and the county. And so I feel like our team is ready for our portion of the role and look forward to working with our businesses here in Anoka County.
Thank you, Ms. Hubbard. And I would ask you to remain up there for a little bit in case there might be any questions. We'll now begin that live public comment portion of the hearing. And the purpose of this part of the public hearing is to solicit comments and to gather any public opinions regarding the proposed Anoka County Cannabis Business Ordinance, and that is ordinance number 2025-01. To Ms. Hubbard, did Public Health receive any written comments or messages submitted prior to the meeting in response to the published notice?
No, we did not.
All right. I will now then turn to see if there are any members of the public who have come here today and wish to provide any comments or express their opinions regarding the proposed ordinance. So to members of the public who are out in the gallery, now is your opportunity. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the board on the topic of the Anoka County Cannabis Business Ordinance? I see none, but I'm going to do what we normally do, and that is repeat it 2 more times and call for it. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the Anoka County Board on the topic of the proposed Anoka County Cannabis Business Ordinance? And last call, any members of the public who would like to address the county board on the topic of the proposed Anoka County Cannabis Business Ordinance? Mr. Chair, members of the county board, nobody has come forward from the public to address the board at the public hearing. I would close the public comment portion of the meeting today, hearing no comments or no further comments on it. I would note that the proposed ordinance is attached to today's agenda. It is entitled Ordinance Number 2025-1. The way it is written, I just noted the title of it is a little awkward, candidly. It says Anoka County Cannabis Ordinance, Cannabis Business. I would recommend that the title of it be changed to track with the public notice that went out, so that it would now read Ordinance Number 2025, Anoka County Cannabis Business Ordinance. And with that, Your Honor, I would turn it back over to you to entertain any motion to enact ordinance number 2025-1 and recommend an amended title.
Thank you, County Attorney Johnson. Just for clarification on the name, it does say businesses, and you mentioned business. You wanted to still say businesses, correct?
The public notice that went out was Anoka County Cannabis Business Ordinance.
Oh, it did say business, not businesses. Okay. Great. We've got that change, and we'll put that in the record. So we have the ordinance before us. It's number 2025-1. Do I have a motion on the ordinance?
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner Meisner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jepson. Questions?
And just a point of clarification, is that with the amended title?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry, with the amended title.
Thank you.
Commissioner Meisner, you had a...
Yeah, thank you. Just commentary. We actually had a really great discussion about this, right? This is all new and challenging, quite frankly. And so I just wanted to make note of that. I have, of course, my own personal opinions about concerns about the health impact about this, but regardless, this is our job, is to implement it. And then I did also want to just make note too, as well as part of our discussion, as this develops and I don't want to say the rules, but as things develop, we also have the space to make amendments in the case that it is not working well for our communities, just like we did right now. Literally, we made an amendment to change the title. So that is still before us as a board, and I did want the public to understand that as well. This is not necessarily locked in stone per se. Thank you.
Commissioner Jepson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, yes, a very robust conversation regarding this, just so that we can all understand as things are rolling out on the fly, how to get this ordinance created and prioritizing the public safety component of these new statutes. So it was interesting to me when we were discussing this. So this ordinance, correct me if I'm wrong, Janelle, put a cap of the number of new businesses that are selling this cannabis to 30 in Anoka County, correct?
Based on the current population, correct?
Correct. So what if we don't pass this ordinance? What difference does that make to that number or implications if not passed?
Well, we don't really have the option because we have Linwood Township as a part of our county, and we are required to provide an ordinance to support all townships. And so that is the variable that forces us to create an ordinance. Not only that, it's really important to know that as counties, inaction really does cause us as a county to have less control over the activities happening in the county. So it is in our best interest and the interest of the health of our community to make sure that we have a very strong system in place to be able to understand what's happening in our community and to work with the cities in order to coordinate those efforts and make sure that we're partnering well with them and the Office of Cannabis Management.
Thank you.
Commissioner Meisner.
Oh, thank you. And then just to kind of piggyback off of this conversation too, so to your point, Linwood is a township, so legally that's already locked in. And this is available for cities that also want to have the county oversee this. So Hilltop, I know, is very interested in it as well as one example. But yeah, so I just wanted to state that because that was part of the conversations. Do cities still have their own autonomy? Yes, they do.
It is there's a higher likelihood that the cities will use our county ordinance if they choose. They don't have to.
Right.
But we have shared that. We have shared our draft out with several cities because the ultimate goal is to have continuity in messaging and guidance and rules across the county, whether we are a city or a county. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Commissioner Reiner.
Should also mention on this, as I understood it from the meeting that we had prior, that this number 30, based on population of locations for doing this kind of business, is a low bar, correct? And
Yes, that is correct.
That's a minimum amount that the state would like us to have. Technically, you could have 300.
Technically, yes, it can be more than 30.
Which is, kind of ridiculous, but I understand why we're putting this ordinance in place, and I agree with it.
Yes, I think, Commissioner Reinhardt, you bring a good point, and that really validates the importance of our public health department having a very close partnership with cities so that we have a really good pulse on where they're at in regards to the number that they're allowing within the city. Partnership's going to be very important with this and making sure that we are understanding what we're doing across all cities and county here in Anoka.
And we'll understand it a lot more in a couple of years.
That is correct. The infrastructure at the Office of Cannabis Management is still standing up itself. And so we continue to glean new pieces of information from them, and we are doing the best that we can to implement a structure within that. We have to be fluid and flexible, right? We have to communicate well, and then just make sure that we're, with everything that we do, looking at the risks and liabilities to make sure that we as a county and our community is protected.
Understood. And a precarious topic at times, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Heinrich.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to further solidify or clarify along the same lines as what Commissioner Reinhardt was mentioning, I think it's important that members of the public do know that this is the statutory minimum that the state legislature set at 30 minimum. So yes, we could have more, but also, to my knowledge, I don't think that there's been law passed that mandates in a county that a business has to, or that a county has to give license to a minimum number of that business. It's 1 per 12,500 residents. That's where we're coming up with that number 30. So correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chair, but that's how I look at it. I think it's a fairly unique proposition that the state said that the county has got to, at minimum, issue 30 registration licenses.
Janelle, do you have any comment? That's the correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and what we're dealing with as well is that individual cities have a number based on their population.
Correct.
And that's how you're talking about keeping track of all of those, because a lot of those cities are going to have their own rules and regulations within their city, probably match many of them that we have already, or in our ordinance that we are also looking at. That's similar to certain things that are done with liquor licenses. within communities. So that, you can't, you have certain areas where you can have a liquor license for a bar or a liquor store, those types of things. And that's basically, that was probably the start of where we went with this. I'm not sure exactly where you guys started, but it was probably, okay, what do we do for liquor licenses? And then we kind of run down the same list of, we want to make sure they're not next to the high school, or make sure they're not in these areas near daycares, or, these types of things that we can do. And that's some of the basis, I'm sure, of this, plus other things that were used.
Yes, that's correct. So that's correct, Mr. Chair. In addition to really wanting to make sure that people are being educated, right? That we have education around the age and the impact, right? So part of the ordinance is really making sure that we push that education within these establishments and asking them that they need to post that. And so we're trying to establish kind of best practices in a constantly changing environment.
Thank you. Commissioner Jepson.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think this question is for County Attorney Johnson. So the way I read the ordinance, it doesn't set the minimum of 30 and allow us to go to 300, but it sets the limit at 30. And I quote, Anoka County is authorized under Minnesota's law to limit the number of retail registrations within its boundary, 1 per 12,500. Therefore, Anoka County sets the limit of retail registrations for Anoka County boundaries to 30. If there are 30 active cannabis retail business registrations, Anoka County shall not be required to register additional state licensed cannabis retail businesses. So the way I'm reading it, it can't go up to 300 unless this board allows it, which I think safely say there's no way. But I think it doesn't set the minimum, it sets the maximum with the ability for us to keep it at that maximum, correct?
That's correct,
Yes.
Commissioner. So by adopting this ordinance, you are setting that top limit. State law does not limit us from setting the top limit. It tells us what the minimum number is that we can set as our top limit.
Yep, thank you.
But by enacting this ordinance today, you're setting the limit at 30.
Yeah, thank you.
I guess that brings up the other question, and as to why we want to get information from the other cities that are not going to necessarily fall within our ordinance, because they are going to do their own. So we want to know how many they're planning to do. So I would imagine they're setting with their legal team a limit for, let's say, if you have 70,000 residents, as Blaine has 70,000 residents, they have a limit of, well, let me do the
5 or
math.
6, yeah.
5 or
Right-
6,
right in
okay.
there.
And they can also go higher.
Correct.
That's interesting, because
That's the conversation I remember us having during our meeting, is that 30 is the limit that they're placing from the state level, but that's just, that's just kind of like what they want us to have is 30. And that there are ways to go above that as a city even, right?
Yeah, so the other piece here is that any city at any time has the ability to assign delegation to this to us here at the county. And so that's the other piece. So they have the ability to make that decision as long as they have an ordinance, right? And are overseeing the work. But it's important to know that at any point, any city could say, Anoka County, we want to get into a delegation agreement with you for you now to oversee our city regarding this work. So there's multiple intersections for this, and it can be very confusing. But what we know is that this cannabis ordinance really is the foundation of this work, and making sure that we're communicating well with our cities and our township. Office of Cannabis Management, and then really paying attention to the changes that are coming to make sure that we're flexing and making adjustments as needed.
Commissioner Reiner.
Yeah, and also as Commissioner Gamache was talking about, you know, similarities to liquor ordinance and stuff, I think cities can, you know, come up with their own way that they're going to be handling it too. When I was mayor in Lino Lakes, we didn't have a limit on liquor stores because I thought it was kind of silly. You know, to limit, you know, every 2 miles or something like that. I don't know, we don't do that with pizza, so. But then some cities are very strict about that, or don't allow them at all because they're municipal. So I think we'll see probably an array of different ordinances, you know, from different cities, depending upon what their desire is and how they want to handle this.
Any other questions or comments? We had a motion, it has been seconded, and I believe, let me get to the top of the page here. This is I think a roll call vote, but we'll double check. Is it a roll call vote?
Wouldn't need to be.
Wouldn't need to be?
unless the attorney thinks so.
Okay. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, it's voted unanimously. That was item number 8 and 8A. We'll move down to item number 9, which is the bond, or presentation of bid results, and consider adopting the resolution on the general obligation bonds. Corey.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. My name is Corey Camp. I'm the Chief Financial Officer. As you might have been aware, we did go through a bond sale yesterday. I have Tammy Amdahl from Northland here, our financial advisor, and she's going to walk us through the results of the sale. We did sell $21.5 million in bonds. So Tammy, why don't you come on up?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Tammy Amdahl with Northland Public Finance to speak to the results of the bids that were received yesterday. The financing is to finance Rum River Decentralization Project and the 911 Center Project. As Corey mentioned, the final principal par amount of the bonds is $21,500,000. Before I speak to the results, I want to speak to the affirmation of the city's bond rating. As part of this process, the city did request that S&P Global review the rating, and they did affirm the AA+. I would note, if you've had a chance to review the report, that S&P did request and review the county's capital improvement plan, which this year also included a debt management and a look at future debt service. That's an important point because the county has a very robust capital improvement plan, and this rating affirmation reflects and accounts for those plans for future bond issuance and capital improvement. An important point because the plan was recently updated. With that, there were 14 bids received, a very great process, and the low bid was from TD Securities out of New York. The final true interest cost, and true interest cost takes into account the offering price and the coupons, is 3.54. The final par amount, as noted, is $21,500,000. That is less than the set sale. The maximum that was authorized by the county board was $22 million. The final true interest cost came in just slightly under what was estimated in December when you reviewed the finance plan. And with that, Mr. Chair, members of the board, I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of the board, from the board?
I just want to say well done. I mean, it was a great response, and I think we landed in a good spot. So
Congratulations to the board.
Mr. Chair, I'll offer the resolution.
Thank you. The resolution has been offered by Commissioner Schulte. And if there's anyone else having any comments, I'm not seeing any. And this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Jepson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Heinrich.
Aye.
Commissioner Brasted.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye. And that passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Is there anything else to come before the board this morning? Seeing none, we will be adjourned. And we